LAFC, I know they come back. You faced them pretty last week. Just what about this matchup, this rematch will be difficult? Obviously, they have a strong roster, even if they do rotate some of the players from their match last night.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it'll be very similar to what we faced a little over a week ago. Yeah, good team. We just need to be prepared in different ways. I think we need to be a little bit more, be nice to create some more chances and not give up as many goals. That's for sure.
I think it was one of those matches, too, where you guys created a few chances in that first half right off the bat. Do you look to try and do some of the things that worked in that match again, or do you look to try and change things up to give them a different look and maybe attack?
Look, I think we played well in that game. I said that before. We did. I thought we had a good game. They scored, a few chances that they had, and we didn't. I don't want to get into the first goal and all other stuff. It's irrelevant at this point. But I thought our response, after they scored, we scored. It was good, and I thought, like I said, we played really well in the game. It just, it went more their way on a couple actions than it did ours. So I don't think we have to go crazy and try to do all these different things. We'll be very much like who we are. It doesn't change the fact that what we haven't been very good at all season long is defensively, and we got to continue to get better at that even in these last two games.
Do you think, I think John had made a comment on Tuesday, but I was just curious, do you think players and the guys that for sure under contract will be here next year, that they can use these two games as preparation for next season and use this time ahead? I know it is hard when you're not chasing something. Do you try and put something in front of yourself to keep yourself motivated?
Look, I mean, obviously, I played the game for 15 years, so it's not coaching experience, I have playing experience. I think as a player, it's easy to say it as a coach, but as a player, every single day of training, every single game you play, you always have the ability to get better. And whether that's for the team you're playing on currently or the next team you're going to go play for, or if it's your last game you're ever going to play, like you want to be the best that you can be. And so if you're not trying to do that on a regular basis, then I'm here to say that whether it's here or anywhere you're going to be, you're going to have a short career. Because this profession, that's what you have to do. And I'm talking about the playing profession. If you're not thinking that way, if you're not approaching every day that way, you're going to have a very short career. It's just the way it is. So you have to work towards it in that mentality. What I won't do is I won't speak for the players, because that's a question for them, but I'm speaking as a former player.
And then kind of along that line, do you think you learn about a player's mentality the way you see them? Obviously, you haven't had too many seasons where there's nothing riding on these last couple matches, but do you learn something about a player in those matches?
Again, I'll use both as a player and as a coach. In 2000, we were undefeated for the first 12 games of the season, right? And I don't know exact what time, but I think I remember correctly, at some point it went on like a 4-game slide. I don't think it was right after that, but it was some point in the season, probably dog days of summer, it was somewhere in there. And you find out in that moment, do you have a team that's actually strong in mentality, or do you have a team that just was strong when things were good, and now when things go in the wrong direction, do you have the guys to get yourself out of it? That team did. That's why we won the Supporter Shield that year. That's why we won MLS Cup. I could say the same thing. I remember our team in 2012 in the playoffs, we get knocked out. And it was our second time in a row by Houston. And we go down in 2013, we go, I can't remember, semifinal, quarterfinal, I can't remember, I think it's semifinal. We go to play New England, and, we lose there, and the guys are like, I don't want to say they weren't devastated. The guys were, when I came in the locker room afterwards, because the next game was at home, because it was back, home and away, I already knew going in the locker room after the game that we were going to win the game at home. I already knew, and I knew we were going through it, because you could tell the mentality of the team. You learn a lot more in the difficult times than you do because like I said, when the team's doing well, anybody can coach the team. Anybody can play on the team. You can throw young guys in, and all of a sudden they look really good. And then Thad comes up to me afterwards, and he's asking me about, hey, that homegrown player is really playing good. Yeah, he is, but a lot of it has to do with because the team's playing well. So, yes, it's more in the difficult times you find out about people. And Thad, that's a compliment because you always are supporting those young kids, and I like that.
Along that line, Zoe got called up to Canada. What can you say about, what he's done this year to earn that?
Very good question. I am not surprised. I am not surprised because since he has moved to the midfield, he has been a revelation in so many ways. He's been great. I'm very happy for him. They're going to get – Jesse's getting the kind of player that we all want in our team. He covers incredible amount of ground. He's selfless on the field. He makes good decisions. He's more than athletic and physical enough in that area of the field that he can be dominating. He's able to go box to box all game long. He's relentless in his energy. So he deserves the call up. And I, knowing him and his personality, because he is a team guy, he'll take advantage of that situation for sure. Because because of his everyday approach that's always been here, even when he's playing left back. I mean, he always comes and he's ready to go.
What is it about a position switch that sometimes just turns everything going the right way for a guy?
It's comfortability. Our game's interesting because there's some guys that they need to be on the line, meaning that they need to be on the outside. They need to have the line on one side of them because they're only good at dealing with the rest of the field. And then you got some guys that need to be on the top or the bottom of the line. They can't be in the middle because that's 360. Whereas the others you're connected to something, either the goal that way or the goal that way. And then you got guys that feel really comfortable, just 360, not having any guide rails, and they can do it all. And once they find that area where they feel most comfortable, then they get a routine. And now when they get the routine, that's where you start to see, consistency and progress and evolution in them.
You talk about Jesse's getting a good guy. Do you sometimes talk to those national team coaches and say, hey, maybe you should take a look at this guy, or do they call you and say, tell me more?
I never call any national team coach. I wouldn't be presumptuous to do that. If they are interested to get my opinion, they'll call me, and I'm at that point. Then I'm happy to give it. But I'm not being presumptuous. That's for sure.
Going into this game, I know we talked earlier the other day that Joaquin's getting close. Is he going to be available?
He's close. Yeah, he'll be available. Yeah, he'll be available. Yes.